use a computer, phone, or tablet. Internet providers have a legal obligation not to block or limit your access to a website. There are no gatekeepers deciding which sites you get to access. There are no toll roads on the information superhighway.
All right, seeing as it worked like a charm on healthcare, the president is now trying to make the government the ultimate regulator of the internet. Not in so many words, but Judge Andrew Napolitano says he doesn't like this so-called not so neutral push on net neutrality. What do you think he's up to?
This is so Orwellian that they would call it net neutrality. It's anything but neutral. The first thing the government wants to do is to regulate the cost of the internet by allocating the costs to servers rather than having the free market allocate the cost, which has worked magnificently and with near perfection since Al Gore invented the internet. Once he is able to regulate to regulate costs, then the next step would be to regulate content.
By that extension, you would be against utility commissions and those that try to police electricity rates.
He can't get this out of Congress, right. So he's going to use the Federal Communications Commission. The Federal Communications Commission can only regulate what Congress has authorized it to regulate. It doesn't regulate cable television. It doesn't regulate the internet. They will have to aggregate to themselves, the commissioners, out of nowhere, the authority to regulate the internet. The computer giants will challenge it, and federal judges will decide who's right and who's wrong.
But you realize in this case you're putting yourselves on the side of the Comcast, the Cablevisions, and some guys who definitely have their own interests in mind a lot of times.
I would rather be on their side than the side of the people that gave us Obamacare. Look, the free market is what created the internet. If some giant, if Google decides to become anti-consumer, which would be insane because the consumers have made Google, another internet giant will be there to provide the services that people like you and me and everybody watching us now use on a daily basis. The president doesn't understand that.
Well, what are you afraid it leads to, Judge? I mean, there's talk of like an internet tax. Get that going on a federal level?
I have three fears. I have one, the government regulating something that has been nearly perfectly free always makes it unfree, and instead of making the decisions being made by you and me and people who use it, it's going to be made by bureaucrats. Two, whenever government regulates something, it costs more. Three, if they regulate the cost, this is my greatest fear, Neil, they'll regulate the content. Look, they already regulate the content of regular broadcast television. In theory, in return for Fox, the Fox 5 Fox, receiving its license from the FCC, it has agreed not to say certain things and to say certain things. Who the heck wants to see the internet become that?
That's a very good point. Judge, good seeing you again.
Pleasure, my friend.
He is on the side of corporate fat cats, just so you know. I'm kidding.
Are you a corporate fat cat?
I am. Well, fat. Anyway.